Now, although Ouranos is usurped by Saturn, who takes the kingship of heaven from his father and castrates him, the god Anu, over time, is replaced by other deities who came after him and gained prominence and assumed more significant roles within the pantheon. These two primary gods who surpassed Anu in influence are Enlil and Marduk. Enlil, just like Saturn, is the son of Anu and was initially assigned the role of carrying out Anu's decision on Earth. However, as the mythological narratives developed, Enlil's importance grew, and he became associated with the forces of nature, particularly as the god of wind, storms, and agriculture. Enlil's authority expanded to encompass the earth and its inhabitants, and eventually became the chief deity of the Sumerian pantheon. Despite this, Anu retains his position as the head of the pantheon, and Enlil's rise did not involve a direct usurpation of Anu's authority. Marduk's rise to prominence occurred in Babylonian mythology during the time of the Babylonian Empire. In the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth, Marduk defeats the primordial goddess Tiamat and establishes himself as the supreme god. Marduk's ascendancy reflects the rise of Babylon as a major power in the region, while Marduk became the central figure in Babylonian pantheon. Anu retains his position as the father of the gods and the ruler of heaven, just as Ouranos attains his status even after Saturn and Jove rule the heavens. Anu, like Ouranos, continues to be known as the heaven's abode, but Marduk is identified with the celestial body of Saturn, showing his overlap and genetic connection to the Greek myths of Saturn and Ouranos. In Mesopotamian mythology, the pantheon was dynamic, with the roles and prominence of gods evolving over time. This evolution was influenced by various factors, including shifts in the political power and assimilation of different cultures. While Enlil and Marduk may have surpassed Anu in certain aspects, Anu's position as the father of the gods and the ruler of the heavens remains significant throughout all of Mesopotamian mythology. The story of Saturn, also known as Kronos, usurping Ouranos, is a part of Greek mythology recounted in Hesiod's Theogony and other ancient Greek texts. According to the myth, Ouranos was the primordial god of the sky and ruled over the universe as its first original ruler. Ouranos married Gaia, the goddess of the earth, and together they bore many children, including the Titans. However, Ouranos was a harsh and oppressive ruler who feared his own children's power. He hid his children deep within Gaia's womb, causing her great pain and suffering. Gaia became resentful and plotted with her children to overthrow Ouranos. The Titan Kronos, also known as Saturn, took lead in the rebellion against Ouranos. Gaia fashioned a sickle and gave it to Kronos. With the sickle, Kronos castrated Ouranos, severing his genitals and casting them into the sea. By castrating Ouranos, Kronos symbolically emasculated him and seized his power. Kronos then became the ruler of the universe, taking Ouranos' place as the new supreme god. Kronos then married his sister Rhea, and they became the rulers of the gods, known as the Titans. However, Kronos also became fearful of his children, and he worried that they would overthrow him, just as he had done with Ouranos. As a result, Kronos swallowed each of his children, as they were born to prevent them from challenging his authority. This continued until Rhea devised a plan to save their youngest son, Zeus. Instead of giving Zeus to Kronos, Rhea hid the infant on the island of Crete, and instead, she presented Kronos with a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. Zeus eventually grew up and returned to confront Kronos. With the help of his siblings and other gods, Zeus waged a war against Kronos and the Titans, known as the Titanomachia. Zeus emerged victorious, overthrowing Kronos and banishing him to Tartarus, a deep abyss in the underworld. The myth of Saturn usurping Ouranos reflects a common theme in Greek mythology of a younger generation of gods overthrowing and replacing the elder predecessors. This is what we see with Anu and Enlil and Marduk. It symbolizes the cyclical nature of power and a succession of ruling deities. Scholarly connections between the Greek myths and Sumerian mythology, particularly concerning these deities, Anu, Enlil, and Marduk, and the Greek pantheon, can be observed in terms of shared themes, archetypes, and potential cultural influences. Both Anu in Sumerian mythology and Ouranos, sky gods, father gods, holding the position of primacy in their respective pantheons, both associated with the celestial realm and regarded as the patriarchs of the gods, both going through successions and power struggles. Mythological narratives involving these deities, Enlil and Marduk, and the Greek pantheon feature these themes of succession and power struggles. These narratives depict the younger generation of gods overthrowing the older to establish their own dominion, Enlil surpassing Anu, Zeus dethroning Kronos. Generational dynamics observed in both mythologies where the children rebel against and ultimately surpass their parents. This theme of succession and power transfer is significant in both Sumerian and Greek. Both emphasize the concept of cosmic order and establishment of the divine hierarchy. Anu plays the role of maintaining cosmic order, while Zeus Ammon assumes a similar role. The gods are organized in a hierarchical structure, with specific deities assigned roles and responsibilities within their pantheons. The ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia and Greece had periods of contact and cultural exchange. This contact likely influences the mythology and religious beliefs of these civilizations. There is evidence to suggest that cultural and religious exchanges occurred between ancient civilizations. We have direct archaeological proof, without any doubt, that Greek scribes in the court of Alexander the Great at Babylon were still able to read, translate, write, and use cuneiform script, which was out of use by the time of the Roman Empire. Here is two examples of clay tablets written during the rule of Alexander the Great. The first clay tablet, shown here, figure 315, shows an astronomical tablet found in Babylon, which records events from the weeks prior and following the Battle of Gaugamela. It contains one entry that fixes the date of the battle at October 1st by the Julian calendar. The entries on the reverse side described Alexander's proclamations to Babylon, an entry into the city, a famous event in world history. The anonymous scribe who recorded these events refers to Darius as king of the world, and the entries leading up to the battle then gives the same title to Alexander in the entries that follow. Lastly is this right here, figure 728. The text of this Babylonian astronomical tablet supplies our most accurate date for the death of Alexander the Great, in a log entry designed to permit correlation of political and astronomical events. An anonymous scribe wrote in cuneiform for the date corresponding to June 11th on the Julian calendar. On this day, the King Alexander has died. So not only was the Ptolemies in Egypt able to still use ancient hieroglyphics during this period, but Greek academics in Babylon were using the most ancient cuneiform writing, and the Great Library of Alexandria had access to the most ancient of texts during this short-lived period, which is the same period that historians from the ancient world, such as Josephus and others, claim that the Bible was produced, known as the Septuagint, which means 70, the story being that 70 elders put together this text, using the most ancient sources from Heliopolis and Babylon.